Good morning, everyone. I am Austin. I'm here on with Maddox Foundation and so excited to talk with the co-executive directors, Miss Dorothy Grady Scarborough and Miss Sunny Baker over at Mississippi Farm to School Network. We're also joined by Mr. Keith Fulcher, president of the Community Foundation of Northwest Mississippi, and Miss April Thomas, who is on staff here at Maddox Foundation as well. So good morning, guys. How's everyone doing?
Good morning, Austin. Doing well. How about
Good.
you?
Doing well. Super excited to talk with you guys. We are so excited. Of course, we learned about Mississippi Farm to School Network through the Community Foundation of Northwest Mississippi and the Feed Fund and the different partnerships that we've been able to make through them. And we're super excited for all the great work that you guys are doing to help connect children and family and schools with local farmers to get them that nutrient dense food. And so why don't you guys kick us off and tell us a little bit about what you guys do and about Mississippi Farm to School Network.
Good morning. I'm Dorothy Grady Scarborough. I'm from Shelby, Mississippi, and we're working with Farm to School across. It's a statewide program where we are working to connect farmers, food service directors, as well as our communities to be able to get fresh fruits and vegetables on our tables across the state of Mississippi. Our overall goal for this particular project is to create a healthier Mississippi. And we're trying to do that through our foods and nutrition education.
Yeah, absolutely. As everyone knows, Mississippi is known for their unhealthy eating habits and some of the health needs that come from just not having good diets. And as we've learned through the pandemic and through the Feed Fund, there's definitely some food insecurities. And so having you guys here to help address those issues is vital to what you guys or to what we're all trying to accomplish here and making sure that people not only have full bellies, but they have the nutrients that they need to live healthy lives. And so, specifically, I want to talk a little bit about the home gardens and what that looks like.
Our home garden program was originated because of the pandemic. We initially was doing school gardens and incorporating that into the Common Core curriculum in the schools. But after the pandemic, we still wanted, well, our overall goal initially really was to get the gardens generated in the homes by working with our children at school, and hopefully that it would filter over into, the homes. After the pandemic, we decided that we still need to make sure our children are connected with where our food come from and how it is grown. So with conversation between Sonny and I, we talked about going into the homes with our school gardens. So we launched an application back in June, I believe it was, trying to get families to apply, and it was entitled Home Gardens for School-Age Children.
Mm-hmm.
That Friday afternoon, we opened the application process and we closed it roughly around 11 o'clock on Monday morning. And I know they're probably saying, well, why did they close it so soon? Because we had 1,130 applications.
Wow.
Only had money for 130. So with that being said, it left us to try and seek funding to move forward. And I met Keith a while back, Keith Fulcher, a while back, and we just had that conversation one day that about the garden program and the work that I do beside the anti-hunger work. And that's how we met. But then from there, when I shared with him the work that we were doing, he said, let him see what can he do to help. So initially he funded some gardens in the 8 counties across the state.
Yeah.
And then later he told me, I found somebody who, he said, well, I got good news and then I got bad news or working news. And so he shared me the good news first, that they were going to be able to fund up to $30,000. And he said, the working news or the bad news. And he said, well, how good are you with fundraising? And I wasn't going to tell him that, not very good. I said, oh, I can handle that. my thoughts were, how in the world could I make that happen? And later he came back and he said, Dorothy, I think we can do 50. And I'm like, that means that's good, but it's harder for me. But I just went to work and I called around to a lot of different people that I knew that was in the nonprofit sector to try and give me some ideas as, you know, to what to do. And in the midst of trying to find this, he called me again. He said, Dorothy, we're up to $80,000. I couldn't sit still. And I called Sonny. We was just wired at that point. And
Yeah.
I just kept pushing, calling, and finally I made that call. And when I did, I found the match. And when I told Keith that I was able to raise $80,000, and after we were able to raise it, then he said, well, let's get the rest of the work finished. But that was not the hardest part.
Yeah.
Hardest part really is getting those dollars out there to the community people across the state of Mississippi. But we can most definitely say thanks to the Maddox Foundation for making it possible. And thanks to Keith at the Community Foundation for making the connections, because it has truly been a blessing to the state to be able to fund those garden projects.
Absolutely. And Max Foundation is so excited, for the $80,000 grant that we made earlier this year to you guys for the home gardens to benefit school age children. And so very excited for that. And one of the things that was most impressive is working with a lot of the nonprofits through the Feed Fund was they're serving their neighborhoods and their communities. And that's fantastic. We, definitely appreciate that. And it takes those grassroots movements to make things happen. But what was most impressive for you guys is that y'all are working statewide to engage with schools, to help create this curriculum to teach kids how to not only grow their own nutrient dense food, but to also have better diets to eat healthier foods. And so it was a very cyclical effect that we were very excited to jump in and be a part of. And so tell us some of the benefits of that, of having a home garden, and what that looks like and how it benefits not only the kids, but the families and the communities as a whole. Whoever wants to answer that
You want me to
question.
take this one, Dorothy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, to back up even a little bit, Mississippi Farm to School Network, we have a systems change approach to our work. So we want to get kids fed, and like you're saying, we really want kids to be eating nutrient dense food. But as we're looking at all of our efforts, we're looking at how are we doing this towards changing the system so that we're not constantly putting a band-aid on the problem, that we're really empowering families to help change those root causes of hunger in our state and root causes of health problems related to diet. So with the home garden specifically, it's kind of twofold. It's they're learning a lot. The kids are learning a lot. The kids that are stuck at home with their families right now doing distant learning get outside and do some learning that's hands-on. And there's so many benefits to getting, those of you who have home gardens know the benefits of just getting your hands in the soil and in the dirt, and just to foster that love for growing your own food from a young age can really help the trajectory of the rest of their lives. So ideally they're going to eventually grow enough food to help supplement their grocery budget a little. It's not going to start off right away, but as those of us who have gardened before, sometimes you plant something and it just takes off and you didn't even know, you needed collards in your life so much until you just can't stop harvesting them.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the idea, is that we're starting this now. We're teaching, helping teach families how to be resilient with their food. And you can't grow hot Cheetos in a home garden. So the stuff that they're growing is all going to be really good for them. And Dorothy and I both could tell you story after story of how kids who are picky eaters will eat just about anything that they have grown themselves in a home garden or helped cook. So in addition to the home garden piece, we're doing these supplemental resources and materials to help kids know how to cook with that food and just develop these lifelong habits.
Absolutely. I know even from my own experience, my grandfather is a huge gardener. And so as a kid, I would spend every spring break with my grandfather and work in his garden. And he taught me how to plant the potatoes and the peas, and you spread out the seeds and all of that good stuff. And even to this day, he'll still call me and, all right, I need you to come down this weekend and come grab some of this food because he has so much of it. They didn't have room for all of it. And so he's like, come get your collard greens and your peas and all of this stuff. And it's definitely a great experience overall. And Sunny, you started to touch on it about the different resources that you guys offer. You guys have a plethora of resources there on your website, whether it's for families, having videos of how to start your own garden. There's even one in there, you guys take a little plastic pool and basically fill it with soil and grow stuff. And then you've also got resources available for teachers who are trying to implement this curriculum in the classroom, for school cafeterias. Walk us through some of those and how people can use those resources.
Go ahead, Sonny.
Okay, so one thing that we know about school gardening and home gardening is that there are so many resources all over the country. So one of the big things we do is help connect people to the resources that already exist. There are all sorts of school gardening networks and, just everything. Mississippi State Extension has all sorts of great home garden resources available. So that's one thing that we do. The other thing that we do is try and fill some of the gaps. So we want things to be Mississippi specific, stuff that grows really well here, that's for our seasons, recipes that will be something that our kids will love. So we have done this great video series with some recipes. We have a great chef, Chef Lamont, out of the Delta, who did a really fun pizza and salad cooking demo for us. Dorothy did the kiddie pool garden demo, which is great because one of Dorothy's biggest strengths is being able to grow food out of anything, a boot, a desk, a kiddie pool. So we just want to
there.
Yeah, we just want to show how easy it can be just to get started. Yeah, so we're always, that's one of the biggest roles that we play, is a source for resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are plenty on their website for sure. I know I spent probably an hour just looking through them, of PowerPoints and videos and how-tos, all great things. And so Keith, Miss Dorothy spent a lot of time talking about you and how important you were with making that connection. So tell us a little bit about how this all came about from your end and how this fit into what the Community Foundation is doing with the Feed Fund.
Yeah, Austin, I'm gonna pull over in just a second. So give me just a second to pull over and I will make a comment, okay? Because this is very important to the Community Foundation, and we're just very blessed and honored to be part of this, okay? And I don't want to take any chances driving. So Dorothy, I'm pulling over for you.
Take a moment and applaud Keith's availability here. He's on the road and still trying to be safe and joining us. So thank you.
As you can see,
that.
I'm stopped. All right, yeah. So Dorothy, I met Dorothy a couple of months ago, and I'd heard her name. So I was driving through Shelby, Mississippi, and I stopped to visit her. And I met her. She's in the back of a U-Haul truck, and she's got food in the back of it, just pallets of food. And that she was telling me that she was delivering. And I said, well, I need to do a video of you. And in the video, she started off by saying, I'm the 2017 Margaret Maddox Woman of the Year for the Community Foundation of Mississippi, of Northwest Mississippi. And it was just wonderful to hear that name, Margaret Maddox, and then the title, Woman of the Year. So I knew Dorothy was something special. I knew then she had to be something special. And so we started talking about the food, and she educated me on her garden to school network. And it just worked out magically when Robin kept ratcheting up what the Maddox Foundation, I felt like the Bible, if I find one good, 10 good people, you not destroy the city. If I find 5, if I find 1. So I kept calling Robin back as Dorothy kept increasing in the match, her ability to raise money. And the Maddox Foundation kept agreeing to increase in it. So it fit perfectly in our feed fund. I grew up in Vicksburg, Mississippi, with a garden every year. I hated picking the peas and the butter beans, and all my buddies were sitting on the sidewalk waiting for us to get through picking the beans so we could go play baseball or footballs. But every year I have a home garden, and my wife and I can eat. We can eat a full meal out of our garden during the summer. So it's very meaningful, and we're very honored that the Maddox Foundation has stepped up and again made that transformational impact on another nonprofit in our region. So that's it, Austin, for me. I'm gonna listen in, but I'm gonna turn off the camera and hit the road. I'm on the way to Sunflower County to Indianola.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you joining us, Keith. Definitely be safe. And on from the Maddox standpoint, we were excited not only about the educational side of things, but also on the economical side of things, teaching kids how to grow their own food, the resilience that you were talking about there, Sonny, and even with the partnerships that you guys have with local farmers markets to really help stimulate the economy during an economic crisis. We're all very game-changing ideas, and so thank you guys so much for all the work that you guys are doing. And so for the public who may be hearing about you for the first time, what are some ways that they can get involved, and how can they partner with you guys to help your mission go forward?
I would say, first of all, to help us get the word out across the state, what we are doing for the state of Mississippi, and encourage parents to help take part in our project. And that's simply by applying and working with our children, as they develop their school gardens. And also with the work that we're doing, our overall goal, as I said earlier, is to make sure we create a healthier generation. I think back, some of our children probably will be reluctant, even though, as you said, as Keith said, he hated having to harvest the peas and stuff because he wanted to go out and play. I was in that same predicament as I grew up. But over the years, I've learned to appreciate, but ever since I left home, of course, that's been some years now, I still have my garden at home. I can go out into my yard and come back with a meal, and that's including some meat. Yes,
Yeah.
we have chickens, and we also have ducks, and we have goats. One of the things that I would definitely encourage families to do is to work with our children with this, not just looking at it as being work, but look at it as being an investment. Because in the end, that's a skill that if it's developed at an early age, then they will know how to grow their own food. At the same time, as Sonny mentioned earlier, if our children grow and even help cook, it's even twice a greater chance that that child will eat what he or she grows and cook. So that's one sure way that we can change that palate or curve that palate before it become that salty, sweet, greasy taste bud that we have developed. And hopefully it will help to create a healthier generation.
Awesome, absolutely. And Sunny, you were telling us before we actually jumped on the live about an event that you guys have coming up in February. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in February, we do an annual Farm to Cafeteria conference, usually in Jackson. So this year it'll be online, but we're not just taking the typical conference and pasting it into a Zoom format. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be over 3 days, February 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's going to be a happy hour to connect with other people. There's going to be games. We have 2 incredible keynote presentations. It's a great opportunity to learn more about what we are doing across the state, and then also attend some really intense workshops about the specific pieces of farm to school, like procurement for school cafeterias from local farmers, how to get into schools if you are a local farmer, and then that piece on both home gardens and school gardens will be addressed as well.
Perfect. It will be an exciting 3 days. And what are those dates again?
February 8th, 9th, and 10th. So we'll have different time slots on those days, and it'll be announced we've already announced the save the date on our website, but the sign up is coming up soon. And we encourage everyone to join our newsletter. You can do that at mississippifarmtoschool.org. And the newsletters are our best way of communication with everyone, and Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for talking with us today, and thank you for all the great work that you are continuing to do help, as Miss Dorothy said, to make a healthier generation. It is a big deal, and we appreciate everything that you guys are doing. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Austin, April. We're so grateful to Maddox Foundation, and this just really aligns with our values. And it's an awesome opportunity to show that while Mississippi has some deficits, we also have so much to offer the world, and our communities are taking care of each other. And this is a great way to show off that support.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to do it. One of the things I like to say is that when everyone does their part, there's no shortage of resources. We can really do anything. And so we're excited to do our part and to partner with you guys in this great work. So congratulations and thank you guys again.
Thank you.